What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I am Letitia and this is That's So Letitia. And to all of my new viewers, supporters, followers, welcome guys. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. I hope you enjoy the content. And to all of my returning viewers, supporters, followers, welcome back guys. Glad to see you back as well. Without further ado, let's jump into the video. So first, I am going to apply my primer. So let's apply that. So because this video is all about the base, again, primer, it is so important. For me, it's honestly the foundation of the makeup. So when laying the perfect base, primer to me is king. And the reason for that is because it helps to determine how well your foundation will be presented. It goes according, at least for me, to the climate. Is it humid? Is it hot? Things of that nature. Also, what is the finish that I'm looking to achieve with my particular foundation? Am I wearing a matte finished foundation? Am I wearing a Longwear foundation? Is it going to be a super long day for me? Also, do I want to be luminous? Do I want more of a natural dewy glow to my face? So for each of those decisions that I'm making when I apply my base, I also do factor in the primer that I'm going to use. Now, the Power Grip Primer, to me, it's perfect, at least for right now. It literally lives up to its name. So it grips everything that you apply on top of it. But some of my other favorite primers would definitely have to be, and I have a list, it would have to be the Fenty Beauty Pro Filt'R Instant Retouch Primer. Also, I am definitely a fan of the Hourglass Vanish Airbrush Primer, and then the Fenty Beauty Pro Filt'R Mattifying Primer. That right there, that to me was the game changer, because you know how back in the day, maybe for some of us not so back in the day, but even now, I'm not judging, I'm just saying, we apply the chamomile lotion or the milk of magnesia because we have oily skin. With that Pro Filt'R Mattifying Primer, it's like milk of magnesia where, who, and why. It does the job. You literally do not need to apply any of those things when you use the Pro Filt'R Mattifying Primer. It's chef's kiss. Okay, so now that we have the primer on, I'm going to move into the foundation. So the foundation that I am going to be using, this is by Haus Labs. This is the Triclone Skin Tech Foundation. This one is marketed to be skincare and foundation in one. I actually really like this foundation, like seriously I do. And the reason that I do is because it is medium to full coverage, but it wears like skin. It's not one of those that is so heavy that you have to like overly apply it. It covers blemishes. It wears beautifully. If you apply it properly, there is little to no transfer. And this foundation, as I just said, it's amazing. It is beautiful. And I'm going to apply it using a e.l.f. Cosmetics. It's marketed as a blending brush, but of course I'm putting on foundation, so you have to blend foundation, right? So let's lay this. And again, if you guys watch my videos, you would know this is my favorite part. I don't know, for me, like putting on my foundation and getting my base together, it's just therapeutic. Like sometimes when I do my makeup on my own, I will literally cut my music on, I'll cut my little jazz on, I'll get my mirror and I'll just sit and just buffer out my foundation and my pressed powders and things like that. And before you know it, I've been in the mirror for a good maybe 20 minutes or so, literally just doing my foundation. So, and look at that, it's the finish is just beautiful. It is so beautiful. And this one, I noticed it doesn't really oxidize. I've had some foundations, some of which were favorites, but throughout the day of wearing it, I'm like, okay, who is that girl? Oh, okay, did she tan? Like, what happened? And when I first put on the foundation, it was my shade. But, you know, over time, the undertone tends to change, or it gets ashy, and then you look all dried out. You kind of look casket ready. You look good, but you look casket ready. So I'm really happy to report that this foundation does not give casket. It doesn't. It does not for me. And then also, one thing that I do, so instead of kind of wiping and doing all of that, and now you have streaks of foundation, I like to stipple. So just kind of do this. And then next, we're going to move on to concealer. So, concealers, unless I'm really doing like a product review or I'm featuring something new on my channel, I have some tried and trusted favorites that I tend to kind of lean towards, you know, that saying if it isn't broke, don't fix it. So one of those is definitely the Juvia's Place I Am Magic Concealer, and the shade that I use is number 9. And I pretty much just apply it here, here, of course there, here for brightness, here as well. And then this is pretty much a newer area for me. Not really feeling the fact that it's starting to get a little dark up in that area, even if I wax. So that's why I'm adding a little bit there on the upper lip. And then for this particular area, this is by Nars. This is their Soft Matte Complete Concealer. And I love this little concealer. I really, really do. The reason that I do is because it gives me the coverage that I need. It wears beautifully, but it is the same, at least this particular one that I chose, it's the same shade almost as my foundation, and I really, really like that. This helps to camouflage my late nights. I definitely do appreciate that. And this one is so bomb. If I'm having one of those days to where I just do not want to wear makeup, I will do my skincare. I'll apply a little bit of pressed powder, and I will put this to my under eye area and just kind of blend it in with my fingers and go on about my day. This is so bomb, you guys. Okay, so for the concealer, I typically let it dry down for a little bit. Okay, and now we're going to blend in the concealers. I will be using, this is my Sephora Pro Airbrush brush, number 56. Now sometimes I will blend in my concealer using a damp sponge, but then again, sometimes I tend to notice that if I'm using a damp sponge to blend in my concealer, and then I'm using a damp sponge to apply my pressed powder or my setting powder, that the areas that I use those damp applicators on, it tends to get a bit blotchy, and you can kind of see some areas no matter how much I blot out the dampness of the sponge, but sometimes you can start to see like a little bit of my bare skin, because using the damp product several times tends to pull up the foundation. And then if this was one of those videos to where I was going to do, say, like eyeshadow, I would just simply take my brush after blending in the concealer under my eye, and I would just kind of go in a circle and apply whatever product is left on the brush onto my entire lid and eye space. In this area up here, after I have applied the concealer, what I also tend to do is go back over it using my foundation brush. And that's just to make sure that everything up here kind of blends seamlessly, and that you don't have like this halo of bright concealer just kind of sticking out, and where your concealer ends and then your bronzer begins, or your contour. I don't like that. And trust me, I've had several mishaps that I've actually looked back even on video and I'm like, ooh, okay, I could have blended that better. But the foundation brush does help to kind of take care of that for me. And there's like no additional product that I add. I simply just use the same brush with the same old little dusty product that's left, and I just kind of go along the outer perimeter of where I applied the concealer and just kind of blend outward. Not much, but just enough. And then you can also do the same here. And look at that, this area is so new for me. I just put down the brush like, okay, I'm done blending out the concealer. Yeah, and I'm about to walk around with a whole mustache of concealer. And to me, when you apply foundation and concealer, less is more. You can always build up, but I'm just not really a fan of like pump, 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 especially for more mature skin, because we have some areas that will eventually start to have those creases appear. And if you just have so many layers of product, as the day goes on and you're wearing those products, then the product will begin to sink into those creases and those little crevices that you are not even aware that you had, but they will show up because the product is so heavy on your face. It's gonna tell on you. It's gonna do the complete opposite of what it is that you're looking for it to do, which is to conceal. It's going to reveal. So now that we have blended out our concealers, next step is applying our setting powder. And this is by Huda Beauty. This is their Easy Bake Loose Setting and Baking Powder. I am going to be applying it using one of these little, since popular, black sponge triangles. And for me, I used to bake. I don't bake anymore. Reason being, like, I have nothing against it. With more mature skin, as you're allowing that product to sit, it's kind of creating those little spaces of now enlarged pores and also the little creases. And that's, I'm not here for that. Plus, I used to bake when my oil buildup was just out of order. It was totally disrespectful. Like, I would apply my makeup at about maybe 2, come 4 o'clock, you couldn't take the oil, wipe the oil off of my face, rub it on both of your hands, rub it on the heels of your feet, and I still had oil left on my face. Not a good look. But ever since I've pretty much got that under control with the use of great skincare products and also more water in my diet, I don't have to take the extra step to ensure that my makeup is not going to kind of just drain off of my face because of the excess oil. So that's really why I don't bake anymore. To set the entire face, Too Faced Born This Way pressed powder in the shade Chai. I do not miss this step. And the reason is, if you notice, I set these areas with the loose powder, but there's still shine here. There's still shine in various areas that I did not apply any sort of setting powder to. So given the fact that this is in my foundation shade, I don't over apply. I basically just take a pointed powder brush, just kind of tap into it. And this helps to ensure that my entire face has the same finish as the areas that I applied the setting powder. And it's also a great trick in the event that the setting powder that you use tends to be a little bright and you need to tone it down a bit. With a bit of a pressed powder in your complexion, just a light little dusting over, it tends to help to bring down some of the brightness of that pressed powder or that setting powder. And moving on to bronzers. So for me, bronzers have really replaced the use of contour all over. I really love just the look that bronzers give to my face. I love the warmness that bronzers kind of bring to my face, especially when it's used in a controlled amount and you don't kind of go all over the place with it. So the bronzer that I use, I love this one so much. It is by Jacklyn Cosmetics and it is in the shade Daycation. Y'all just get into that. Please get into that. And I remember when I went to buy this one from Ulta, and the lady, she was, you know, I asked her where was the product, and she took me to it, and she tried to sell me another one. And I saw this one. I don't know, I guess I had a radical moment. And I saw this one. This was one of the deepest, I think this is actually the deepest shade bronzer that they had. And she's like, oh no, that one will be too rich. It'll be too rich for you. This is everything. This is everything. Now, I've had some bronzers to where it's like, okay, this one matches your skin tone perfectly, and it didn't show up. Like, no matter what the brand was, it did not show up. And for me, I don't like my bronzer to necessarily sit in the background. If I'm wearing it, it needs to be shown. Like, you need to be able to see that that's what I have on. So that's why I love this one. And if there's anybody out there wondering, is it contour and bronzer? Nope, for me, it's just bronzer. I think that's one of the reasons why I used to be so intimidated with attempting a bronzer, because I'm like, okay, I only have so much space on my face. Like, where do I put it? Do I put the contour here? Do I put the bronzer there? Then where does the blush go? So for me, this settles that whole argument. All right, guys, so in terms of what I would do next, if I were moving on and like doing full on makeup, especially off camera, I would apply my first spritz of setting spray. So the first one that I would use, this is by Hourglass, and this is their Veil Soft Focus Setting Spray. Reason that I would apply one of several layers is because I need to set all of the product that I applied thus far, and then I would periodically still kind of go back and forth and maybe do another sweep of my powdered brush just to make sure that there is no shine or that there is no imperfections in my base, and then I would proceed on. Guys, there you have it. So again, if we were doing full on face, we probably at this point would have moved on to now doing our eyes or applying maybe my crazy eyebrows or something of that nature. But yeah, so that is it for all about the base. You guys know I love my base. I talk about it all the time. My absolute favorite part of doing my makeup. So I just wanted to do a quick video and share that with you guys. Hopefully you learned a few tips, or if these are things you already knew, hopefully it just kind of helped to reaffirm those options and those actions that you take yourself when you are applying your base. So guys, let me know, what did you think? Not one of those full on videos I typically do, but wanted to share with you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this content. Let me know in the comments below. And it is my birthday month. Stay tuned, videos are going to be awesome. Also, I have an announcement I'm going to make in my very next video, so definitely please stay tuned for that, because I don't think you guys would want to miss it. I'm including you guys in something awesome for my birthday. And yeah, guys, so feel free to like, share, comment, critique, do all of the things that you guys do best. Thank you again for your support. Thank you so much again for clicking on this video. And guys, stay safe, be well, exercise self-care. It is not a privilege, but yet a necessity in the times that we are in. It most definitely is imperative you put you first. Remember that always. And guys, until next time, we shall chat again soon.